This was my first pear drawing back in 2023, and this is the new one from today. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through how to draw a realistic pear. So the first thing you need to do is have your sketch ready. Then you start lighten up the sketch by erasing the excess pencil. When you are done, you are going to need blue for the areas that you want to make a little bit darker. So what I'm doing here is I'm coloring lightly. I do not press on the pencil. And this is how I always do for the layers, because this is how you make layers. When you want to color something using layers, you do not press hard on the pencil, because when you press hard on the pencil, it is difficult to make other layers on top of it. So I used red. I colored lightly around the middle part, and then with light orange I'm going over everything except the right area. Again, I'm not doing too much, I'm just coloring lightly. I do not press on the pencil, and I'm just trying to go over the first layer. As you can see now, the blue kind of looks greenish, and it will improve more through each layer. It is very important to practice and to draw the same thing you did before again, like maybe every year or so, or every month if you like. It's up to you, and that way you can see the improvement. But if you do it like every month, it probably will not show too much of a difference. Now that I'm done with the light orange layer, I'm using a dark brown to make some dots. I was kind of skeptical this will not turn out the way I wanted while I was doing this, but by the end, when everything came together, I liked how the dots make it more realistic. This part actually hurt my hands so much because it was too detailed and it needed too much work. It made me feel like it's impossible to finish this today, but I'm glad I locked in because I liked how it turned out. When doing the dots, please press harder on the pencil so they will be visible when you add new layers. By the way, I'm using colored pencils from Faber-Castell. Some are from Polychromos, but mostly are Albert Durer. You can use any colored pencils you have. I'm just letting you know in case you're wondering which ones I'm using. Now that I'm done with the dots, I think that the layer underneath was not showing as it should, so adding a little bit of green to the area that is supposed to be darker, and with a lighter brown I add a little bit of color to the lower part of the pear. Make sure to blend the colors and never press hard on the pencil. Again, I'm using a little bit of red and a little bit of orange to make everything come together, especially on the sides. For the far right area, I want to use yellow, so I'm not adding any layers underneath it, except for a little bit of the lighter orange. Trying to make this area a little bit darker using lighter brown and green, and now using the light orange as a final touch before I use yellow. Yellow is going to bring everything together. It's the final, kind of final uh, layer. Unlike before, I'm pressing harder on the pencil so it blends all the layers and all the colors underneath. And you can see that I left a spot that is colorless, but I'm going to add a little bit of yellow, not pressing too hard for that specific spot because I want it to be lighter. I think it needs a little bit of shadow, so I'm just using dark brown for this area where I decided it should be darker. I'm not pressing hard so it does not streak, like I don't have streaks of color on top. Just lightly I'm trying to blend everything together and make this area darker. I don't know why my phone stopped recording, but I used dark brown and a bit of green with a mixture of light brown. I used black for the right area, but it shows as all black anyway. So I was going to leave it just like this, but then I thought maybe a background would be nice, so why not? Let's make a simple background. You can use any solid color or anything you want as a background. Here I thought maybe if I used gray and a little bit of black for the left side and lighter green for the right side, it will make a difference. But I can tell you it did not really make any difference when I went with my green. It didn't matter if I did any layer underneath, so you can skip what I did and go just for any solid color. And here I'm just making a little bit of shadow for the pear. I used black, not pressing too hard on black. Then I went over it a little bit with my green, so it looks okay. After I'm done with this area, I'm going to color a shadow underneath the pear, going to the left side. The colors look kind of waxy and shiny on paper, especially that I'm using light on top of it, since it doesn't allow the drawing to look naturally as it is. I will just turn it off. You can also use any solid color you want here, but I used a little bit of brown and green, and I used white to blend everything together. So this is the end result, and now let's compare it to the old one. So this was my first pear drawing back in 2023 when I started drawing again after years of not drawing at all. And you can see that it is very beginner friendly. Then, and this, I think it's also the same month I drew this one, and I thought that this was so good because I blended the colors a little bit better than the first one, but still it looked decent for being only a few days apart from the first one. And in my smaller sketchbook here I have the one from last year, as in 2025, and I love that drawing very much. I thought back then it was very realistic, and it shows a huge improvement from last time I did a drawing of a pear. But now that I'm putting it side by side, I think the colors here are not very well blended, and also I don't know what's going on in the lower part of that pear. And side by side, I think the one from 2026 is a lot better, and I love to see improvement in my drawings. If I can improve, you can too, so don't give up and keep practicing. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.